What's up, crypto media friends? Still out scouting. I got a couple more days scouting here for locations here in the California desert. Trying to give you guys a sense of where I'm at. Hence the change in format temporarily, hopefully. If not, hey, I'll just do this from my car all the time on the go while we're trying to film things as we can. You know, the economy is really, I get sort of a preview of oncoming economic issues and troubles. And I think that, you know, this coming downturn is legit. And I think a lot of our clients are feeling that. And so, you know, when we're between, you know, features and stuff, you know, we do commercials. And so that's kind of our early warning system. And so, you know, we take these, I'm not taking these jobs for granted. So that's why I'm out, you know, working hard to find really great locations. And it's, for me, I love shooting in the desert. California desert, to me, has so many interesting variations and really beautiful. The sunsets are incredible because we have, it's like mountain ranges typically that have different facets all around. So you can go to certain areas and it's called your golden hour when the sun sets is increased because the sun actually sets behind the mountains, and it gives you probably another 30-45 minutes of golden hour. And then what you get is this really marvelous things that happens on the California coast. I feel like partly the ocean has something to do with this, but it reflects back up into the sky in a very intense, colorful way. And so the sunsets out here in the California desert are really spectacular and special. And so, you know, I'm taking time to talk about the California desert I love, and love shooting out here. So, you know, in terms of cryptocurrency and the like, I know we're looking at a lot of interesting, I don't want to say FUD, but we're looking at a real systemic breakdown of you know, what's going on in exchanges becoming insolvent. You know, some of the smaller ones, definitely. I mean, you have to look at those AMMs and those, you know, automatic market makers, and you can kind of see. I mean, just look at what's happening to Uniswap. Like, it's getting really beaten down, and people are sucking the liquidity dry on the stablecoin side. And it was funny because I actually thought that was probably one of the safest bets, right? It's providing liquidity for stablecoins was very lucrative for about a year. Very, very, very lucrative. You're doing 30-40% of people, you know, switching out of ETH into USDT. And so it was a very, very seemingly super safe. I was just like, great, you get blue chips and you get stable coins, and I make money off that. That's amazing. I did a very small test run of that when I was doing liquidity pools during the summer of DeFi, and it was, you know, it was nice, but of course, you know, NFTs sort of like suck all the liquidity out of any sort of AMM that I had. And so moving all that into going full on into NFTs, really, because A, they just have more personality, and B, I understand that business better and more because I understand we have more control in NFTs, because if indeed we do have the ownership, and also we have the ear of the founders. And I think that that's something in cryptocurrency where you go on the Telegram, you know, it's a completely different mode. You know, like you go into Telegram and, you know, you try and ask some questions, and there's like a mod who's bored as hell of answering the same questions that are probably Win Lambo, and, you know, and people begging for a little bit of alpha so that they can trade upon that that news. And so you'll see a lot of those types in and out, and you'll see them in NFT land as well. Is there any sort of announcement coming up, like what's going on with the project? Because they're trying to sell. They're trying to time their sell. They don't want to sit on something. They feel like they got something else that's hot. And there's a little bit of an accident here. Highway patrolman's like literally just standing in front of the lane, which is absolutely mental. California desert. So you know, the two modes of investment are just so starkly different in the way that you can connect with the team. You know, even like some of the metaverse projects, I was very, very frustrated. They tried to do a Discord, but they were a company, and they were, you know, they came from the crypto side first, so they funded themselves through Polkadot, and then so, you know, BitCountry, which I've recommended on the show before. And I still kind of do, because I understand the vision, and I think their vision is really powerful, and I understand that they got funded very well on the Polkadot fundraising, essentially, which is why, you know, I think Polkadot has a really great mechanism, because they're taking the interoperability of, you know, having a bunch of L1s on an ecosystem, much like Cosmos, which is super powerful, and you can see Cosmos right now, guys, in action, and it's super exciting to see. And I know everything's getting beaten down, but I definitely got an eye on a lot of the stuff that's going on in Cosmos, as well as because Polkadot has taken that and that interoperability and also given a platform for a fundraise, which is really phenomenal. And I think, you know, nobody's quite seen the power of it yet. But there's some great projects on both of those ecosystems that are poised to collaborate and to take advantage of the fact that they're on this really great ecosystem and fundraise, which is insane. And so BitCountry is one of those that fundraised, and, you know, they instantly, because of their vision, instantly, you know, funded seemingly. I think they were top 5, and it just seems like, okay, great, fantastic. Now, you know, me as a creator, me as, you know, somebody they're asking, you know, creators to develop their metaverse for them. So they're like, oh, creators, come on board and, you know, get involved in our beta and all these sort of things. And I'm like, you guys want devs. I think they're talking about, like, creators. You just want devs to, like, you know, hack out stuff. They're not ready for creators yet. I go on and I try and interface with these guys, and it really is super clunky. They don't seem to understand that sort of NFT interface space, and that sort of is the delineation for me between crypto, Telegram, NFTs, Discord, access, community, these sort of things that really, I think, are the intangibles that a project like BitCountry, which presupposes that they are going to be a social media platform, is absolutely, I don't want to say failing, is not doing a very good job at currently at the moment. Hit me up, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and hit me on Twitter at MintyFreshVibes. If you want to chat more, people from from BitCountry, because you're doing it completely bizarrely antithetical to what it is that you believe you're in. You believe you're in a social media space, but you guys are acting very, very Web 2, beyond Web 2, Web 1. You're not even, you know, it is bizarre. You know, running the contests that they did, it all just seemed very linear. And as a creative, I'm a bit like, I still got my little bags of it, so, you know, I feel the right to let you guys know and feel informed about, you know, sort of their process as they go. Are they going to improve? Sure. Do they need the right people? They do. So reach out, BitCountry, and I'll connect you with all the creatives you need from here on this channel. And so it's that differentiation between, you know, NFT discourse and sort of the Telegram side of things, and how connected you feel and how empowered you feel, especially as a creator in this space. And that's why I sort of moved everything into NFTs, almost everything into NFTs, because I think there's, you know, the picks and the shovels, and that's sort of my play in the cryptocurrency side, is to, like, okay, great, I understand, you know, Gala Games, I understand Akash, I understand sort of these elements that I think are going to really disrupt, based upon what Web3 is. What Web3 is not the cryptocurrencies. The cryptocurrencies are things between the webs that we're building. What's in between those the cryptocurrencies about between the webs are connected to nodes. And again, if you watch the channel, you know that nodes, I think, are going to be the next wave of of what's gonna have to occur at some point in this bear market is it's just gonna go down. It's gonna go down. There's gonna be speculation and there's gonna be FUD, and it's just gonna get hammered down until there's an event. There's so much, people see a lot of value obviously right now. Everyone's like, oh, buy now, you idiots. It's simple. It's just like it's only gonna go down maybe 50 more %. So you should buy now because it's off of 99% off its all-time high. It's just like, sure, you can kind of look at the graph and really understand that we are in a trough right now. And can the trough go lower? Yeah, sure. But at what risk is a timeline thing for you. There's never any financial advice here, guys. We're only talking about like where to position ourselves as creatives and as collectors. That's want to take advantage of what this play is, and what this play actually is what I think is my vision of it is the actual decentralization. That's why Jack Dorsey was like, we've already screwed up Web 3. Everything seems so like iterations of Web 2. He's like, I'm going to Web 5 because that's the disruptive part is the decentralization of everything. Absolutely everything. Your internet service decentralized, your phone service decentralized, your processing power on your CPU decentralized. All these things, the way that you watch videos decentralized. It's coming from your neighbor's computer, or even if you're part of the node, your computer. So I wonder if that increases your download time if you're hosting the actual video from your system. So this is the thing. The downturn is looking for an event to then rise up from the trough, and it's not going to unless there's the event, unless there's something that really significantly harkens that we have a business to look forward to, a way of working, a disruption. What is that disruption? It is the decentralization. We keep talking about the cryptocurrency shit because we're speculative, and that's not the disruption, is it? That's an indicator of the disruption. The actual disruption is decentralization. And through that, I think that people are going to start understanding, and I think a lot of people do, especially when you follow like helium mining, and big shout out to his name will come to me, Vosk, who hosts decentralization. Check out Vosk if you're into what I'm talking about, because I think Vosk takes a Vosk coin, VOSK coin, here on YouTube. He takes a really hardware approach, and that was my first entry into cryptocurrency in this space as well, was this hardware avenue. And so I started mining Bitcoin, and it was I stopped mining Bitcoin because of just tons of reasons that I give in the previous videos. But what you do have is an understanding of the network, and of the hardware is the key, is the disruption. So, and now you have a lot of people who are selling the helium mining, because I think everyone understands helium. Okay, I'm decentralizing Wi-Fi service. So I'm leveraging, everyone who owns an unlimited service plan can leverage that and sell it on a secondary market with, they call it a miner because it has this connotation that like it's going to accumulate something. It's a node. It's a node within the network, meaning it's a cell tower in the network, right? So if you can imagine all these individual cell towers, privately owned. This is what's powerful about Gala Games is, instead of looking to AWS as the cloud, expensive services, it's roughly we know about $7 a day just even hold something on a hard drive with AWS, and so that builds up when you have a library, and that's across a lot of titles, and it's it probably is more expensive than that, to be honest, if you want to do that internationally. And so if you could disrupt that, if you could have those nodes through private services, and if I hold the node, and here's where cryptocurrency plays in, I get cryptocurrency based upon that network. And so that's why that helium cryptocurrency price rises and falls with the marketplace, but also has its own value within an ecosystem, and that's what makes it valuable within that ecosystem. It means that you're part of this network, and you could ostensibly I've never seen it. This is the funny part. I've seen so many miners. I don't know any Helium customers. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and put in the comments if you would subscribe to Helium. So I see there's all this build out. I'm just like, so who the hell, uses Helium like AT&T, like, T-Mobile? I think they're building it out, and that, it's great. And I see, honestly, it's like, when I have two miners, and when I set up one Helium miner, it's like I have 27 within my honeycomb, meaning like within a few blocks. And then, like, if it's crazy how many people there are running the network. I have yet to see a customer, to be honest. So, but you can see by owning these, the idea of decentralization. And I think that hardware manufacturers are coming. And I talked about this on the channel before. Most of those are really bad hardware designers. They're quite shit, to be honest. And that's why I stopped mining Bitcoin. It's massive waste, massive technological waste. They're not building these to run more than a year. They don't care. They're just like, you're gonna buy them anyways, and we're gonna upgrade the hash rate, so you don't want this after a year, do you? And so they're just constantly, it's just endless trash. But, and I covered this on the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, please. That there is Intel, not that there is Intel, but Intel itself is coming on board, and they're building miners now. And so when you have a manufacturer like Intel building quality nodes, I think we really got something. Now that you have the interest and understanding of businesses, and I think that they took that step in too, because they understood that the next wave is going to be nodes. Everyone's going to want to, quote unquote, mine by owning. You buy this $300 to $500 thing, and you're going to be able to collect based upon the network that you're betting on. Say it's gaming, it's Gala, that actually is far much more now. I think it's like $70,000-$80,000 now, because it's just the demand, because everyone's starting to see this stuff, and they did it in scale. So you could have initially bought for very, very cheap like that, but now at this point, because they feel like their network is being built out enough and it's full enough, they're so brilliant that they're actually going to do it by game, which I think is fantastic, by type. So they're doing a music one, which completely sold out, I think, within a day, at several $1,000s each. But the idea to buy this quote-unquote node, and so you have the hardware aspect to it, and you have, like, hey, let's just run the node as a software package on a piece of hardware that I own, vis-a-vis, a nice iMac or something like this. So, or a PC, a PC that sits on a desktop. And so, there's a lot of hardware out there in the world, and so leveraging the existing, as well as having really great manufacturers coming into the space to produce these, I think within the year, the narrative may switch to nodes. And so that's why I'm excited about, decentralization and that push towards there, because you can see that might be a narrative push. Who knows what it's going to be, but I think nodes at some point is going to get a bit of a mass adoption understanding, because look at Helium. It was like undergroundy, kind of like, people were like sharing it, and people like Voss were like, oh my gosh, look at this thing, I made like $10,000 in a month, and just people were just like, oh shit, yeah, let me get one of those for $500 and I make $10,000. Oh, that makes sense to me. And so the idea of owning a piece of the node has a speculativeness to it that I think appeals like crazy. But I run nodes, some nodes purely on, like, I have a Bitcoin node that I run on a standalone mini server that is not mining for Bitcoin. I think I'm told, like, I maybe get a fraction of something, that a couple of cents, like a year or something like that, in terms of like compensation from the network. But I run it because it holds the blockchain, and so it helps secure the blockchain. So if it ever goes down, like, I got a copy of the blockchain on this computer. And so it's just being, in service of that network. And I just did that, just to understand it, and I understand, like, sort of the need for it as a community member. And so I did it, and it's much less power than a typical miner. And I mean, barely anything. It's just kind of like an app that's kind of running in the background. And so, doing these sort of things helped me understand, the power of this network and the power of nodes and the necessity of nodes as these projects start to develop. And these things like internet computer, and I think even Akash had the idea of a miner, and that took off, and that showed me that there is a really strong, easy consumer interface of, I buy this thing, I get money, I buy this piece of hardware, it's gonna pay me in this cryptocurrency, and this project is gonna expand, and so that's gonna mean that cryptocurrency is gonna be much more valuable to me as time goes on. And so I think nodes are gonna be the next narrative or a narrative that pushes us up. I don't know if it's gonna be the event that pushes us out of the trough, but right now I know we're just kind of sitting there just getting getting hammered in the marketplace. But that's the thing, is when you're speculative, that's gonna happen. When you're in this space to learn and to find opportunities, whether that's as an entrepreneur, whether that's as a musician, whether that's as an artist, that's what I'm here for. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you on the next one.